Everyone to this episode of Senior Living. We have kicked off the month of February and are happily into our first quarter of 2013. A lot of different things going on. We've had some exciting, the Pecan Wine Festival within the last few weeks, and we still got a lot of great things coming up. Throughout the Verde Valley these next few weeks, we've got things like the craft fair at the Moose Lodge, a really large e-cycling event that Cottonwood is putting on. It's regional. You can get rid of all of your old computer kinds of things. One of the more exciting events that we've got coming up, the Sedona Film Festival, will begin shortly, and they've got all kinds of great things planned. There are some pet adoption events and some great speakers that'll be around the Verde Valley, great entertainment, and we are going to actually visit and talk a little bit about some of those things. Right after the, in March, we'll get to the specific dates shortly, but the Arizona Flywheelers, we have a really awesome event right here in the Verde Valley that's just one of many, and we are going to spend a few minutes talking to a couple of gentlemen who make this happen. Welcome to both of you, Gary Covert and Jim Magger, and they're with the Arizona Flywheelers. Thanks for being on the show today.
It's our pleasure.
Very nice. Tell me a little bit about the Arizona Flywheelers.
Well, there's a group of people that have gotten together and formed a club, and we all have interest in old tractors or old gas engines or any type of old farm equipment. And you know, we've got some members that don't have any of that, they're just interested in it. And it's a great way to get together and talk about some of the old equipment. And most of us do some restoration, and really it's a fun time.
About how many people are involved right now?
I think we have 140 members, something like that.
Yeah, in that neighborhood.
Is that in the Verde Valley?
No,
they're from all over.
Okay, all right.
We have people from all over Albuquerque and up into Nevada and stuff like that. Different people come to our show. And then we have a lot of people who are snowbirds that are on their way back to Kansas and stuff, and they stop in our march on our show on their way back.
I should have realized that, because when I was looking at the events that you guys do, they're all over the place. There are quite a few of them around. But let's make sure we talk a little bit about, annually you do an event right here in the Verde Valley.
Correct.
So give us the details on that if you don't mind.
Well, go ahead, Gary.
Well, it's on March 5th this year, March 15th, 16th, and 17th, we'll put on a show, and we'll have antique tractors, antique gas engines, we have tractor pulling, we have garden tractor pulling, and then we have a building there at the Verde Valley Fairgrounds where this is held, and inside there we have book sales, and there's some vendors set up with antiques and things to sell, and then there'll be we also have model engines that are showing, and there's various things in that. And then outside we have a swap meet that pertains generally to old equipment and that type of stuff. But so we have a wide variety of things going on, and not just old tractors and engines, but it all leads that way.
Well, and I think that from some of the pictures that I've looked at, the videos, the things that we've been able to take a look at, there are so many things that that the club encompasses, as far as, like you say, the antiques, but all the way from antiques to maybe what you might consider high performance, or, you know, the really state-of-the-art kinds of things, and it's kind of fun to see everything that you guys have been involved in. Now, this event, like you mentioned, we'll just make sure we repeat that, March 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Verde Valley Fairgrounds. Yes. And from what time does it open in the morning?
Around 8.
Around 8?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to guess it goes to just before dark or something like that.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
4 or 5 o'clock,
okay.
something like that.
All 3 days? Okay.
Well,
and they'll...
Well, no, not Sunday afternoon usually. Sunday afternoon, relatively 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
A lot of the people are leaving that live out of town. They're taking their stuff with them. So.
Right, and as you mentioned, they come in from all over, so there is some of that, and want to get wrapped up. That's still, you know, 2 full days and another almost full day of things that you can see. And the we were talking before we went on air. there are many of you that not only are just interested in it, but you mentioned that you have restored some
Yes.
tractors. And what's one of the most unique ones that you can think of, whether it was yours or not? What's one of the unique pieces that you guys have been around?
Well, there's a engine that was made in England that was one of our members formerly owned, and he sold it to a gentleman in the Phoenix area, and he brings it up. He's fully restored, and it's got a lot of brass and so forth. It's a big, mounted on a big trailer and everything, but it's only 12 horsepower, which is relatively small.
Yeah, that's a little
as
one.
far as horsepower, but it's a beautiful engine. And then, but there's a lot of old engines that's really been fixed up and put back in their heyday.
Right.
Or fixed up like they were in their heyday.
Do you think, is there, what might be most notable to mention about the show this year? Is there a particular event or a particular item that may be most appealing?
Well, a lot of people, depends on what they are. The engine people, we have a big display of engines, you know, and a lot of people like that. But I think the thing that draws the most is a tractor pull, the big tractor pull. I think that draws, a lot of people really like that.
Yeah.
And then we have a garden tractor pull too. We have a sled for both of them. And the garden tractor people really like that too, and a lot of people like it. So in the buildings and stuff, there's displays and everything, but I mean really out on the grounds, the tractor pulls really are really what draw a lot of people.
Okay, I remember seeing tractor races on what used to be maybe the TNN or something a long time ago. No tractor races?
No, we don't have
Okay,
any.
have
just
tractor
tractor pulls.
races.
That's okay. That sounds good, and that is what a lot of people really
Because
like.
it's action, there's something going on. And just to go in and look at tractors or engine and not do anything, well, that's different. But to see these tractors, and I'll have to give Jim credit, the old John Deeres, the old two-lungers, when they're popping away, they really make a distinctive sound.
Yeah, they really do.
They're really neat. And,
That
so
works.
he's right, they got a lot of draw.
That works great. I know I lived in the Midwest for a short time, and if it wasn't the dirt track races, it was the tractor pulls every weekend. So, so that does have quite a draw. How many people are you expecting? Do you have any idea how many people usually?
It depends on the weather.
Ah, that's true. That's true.
If we have good weather, we get a lot of people. If we get really lousy weather like today, not too many.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna believe that. I mentioned last week that Phil said that the spring was right around the corner on Groundhog Day. So we're gonna hope that he
gonna
was
hope,
right,
yeah.
and we're gonna
Yeah, I
have
hope, yeah.
spring here,
Yep.
and the weather will be good. So the Arizona Flywheelers meet once a month right here in Cottonwood. Are there other chapters or other meetings, or this is the home of the club, and you guys meet here?
Yeah, this is this club. This will be the 29th year of the show.
That's great.
But it started out real small, and it's grown through the years. But there's all kind of clubs. There's clubs at Flagstaff, Prescott, down in the valley. There's clubs all over.
Okay. Okay, so here in the Verde Valley, though, you meet at Denny's on the first Wednesday of the month.
Yes.
And everybody is invited to attend. And as usual, they are always interested in new members. So we want to make sure to invite you. Don't forget, Verde Valley Fairgrounds, March 15th, 16th, and 17th, the Arizona Flywheelers. It's going to be a lot of fun, and the weather's going to be great. We're insisting on it, so we're gonna go with that.
Thank you, thank you.
I hope you're right.
And definitely ArizonaFlywheelers.com is the website. There's a lot of information
Yes.
on there. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to come watch that John Deere.
Okay, good enough.
Thanks again,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Thank you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you soon.
Okay.
Everybody welcome.
And you stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
My mom's a hardcore enabler. I first realized it when she said we should have a party at our house.
Have fun tonight? You ready?
She even got my dad to say
Just
okay.
lighten up a little bit.
She's so hooked on enabling that my friends think she's their buddy. She doesn't care. Why should I?
Enabling is a drug. Get help. The partnership at drugfree.org.
Hi, I'm Captain Larry Dawson with the Cottonwood Fire Department, here to talk to you about cooking safety in your home. When cooking with oil, make sure you have the proper size lid and an oven mitt nearby. If the oil does catch fire, cover the pan with the lid while wearing an oven mitt. Turn off the burner. Never throw water or baking soda on a grease fire. Never leave an open flame unattended, and always have a working fire extinguisher nearby.
Hello, everybody. I am Lou Ann Patterson. My family and I would like to welcome you to the Copper Star Indoor Shooting Range, Northern Arizona's premier shooting sports facility. We offer a 25-yard pistol range, a 50-yard archery range, and Arizona's only 100-yard indoor rifle range. In addition, we have a full-line gun shop as well as an archery pro shop. Come check us out. We're located at Highway 260 and Cherry Road, right next to Out of Africa. Looking forward to seeing you all.
Welcome back, and we have a lot more going on this episode of Senior Living. One of the things that we talk about quite often is all of the different ways that we can enjoy ourselves. Experiencing the many events that we have around the Verde Valley is just one of the many, many things that we can do. And the other thing that we talk a lot to our viewers about is the fact that we do have a lot to be thankful for, and we've got a lot that we can enjoy. We have to learn how to do that right, and sometimes it takes a little bit more work than other times. We are very, very delighted to be joined today by Ann Crosman. She's a local author with many, many, many things to her credit, including a lot of background in public radio. I could read pages and pages, but we're going to let Ann explain some of the things that she's had going on. And we're so happy to have you back on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Pam. I'm so pleased to be here.
When we had you on before, you had just released a new book. Right. One of your original books earlier on was Young at Heart, and then you released your new book in January, and I hear it's done marvelously well. And that book was The New Immigrants, American Success Stories.
I interviewed a lot of Arizona immigrants who've come here since the 70s, the recent ones, the legal ones, and got wonderful stories. A handful is here in the Verde Valley, including Yitzhak Magal, who is a Renaissance man, and he is the husband of our Verde Valley rabbi, Alicia Magal. And Nick Paslidis, who is an internist, a doctor, and used to work at the Verde Valley Medical Center, is in his own practice now.
Right, right.
And Deb Wall, who runs Oak Creek Winery and Vineyards. So all of these people have become new friends, and they're busy working. They're contributing to their communities.
Well, speaking of busy working and contributing to communities, you have been extremely active, and it's very exciting to see some of the things that you've been working on over the last year. But I did want to let everybody know, and I'm going to let you do the honors. You just recently competed in the Special Olympics, and tell us about it.
Well, there are many Senior Olympics, and this happens to be one of them. And I came in third, and I must be very honest, there were only 3 women running in my age category for race walking at the Senior Olympics this past weekend. So I got a medal. But the point is that I trained, I showed up, and there were wonderful athletes there in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, most of them men. So to all you women viewers, I will say, if you can run, jump, throw a javelin, unlikely, I know, but you won't have very much competition.
Well, the point, as we were talking earlier, is just doing it. Just right. You did it, Ann. That I think that's pretty fantastic. And there are several different ways that you can get involved in some of the Senior Olympics programs. Right. And one of the first steps is to make the decision to be active and be out there and find those kinds of things to do. So, along with the Arizona Senior Olympics, you've had a pretty busy schedule recently. Give us a couple of little updates on what you've got going on, please.
Well, I'm very active as a volunteer in OLLI, which is Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which is under the umbrella of Yavapai College.
Who we have had as guests many, many times. OLLI is very near and dear to our hearts. Thank you very much for volunteering and being involved with them.
Well, I learn so much, and I teach. Well, we call it facilitate.
Facilitate,
I'm doing a yoga class in the spring, and we're having a special workshop called How to Make the Most of Your Golden Years, and it will be co-facilitated by me and Andy Spiris, who is about 88. And he's pulling in all kinds of experts on aging, including a woman who's going to be talking about sex in your 70s, 80s, and 90s. And it will be Friday, April 12th from 1 to 4 at the Sedona Ollie campus. So any of you, please come out. It's a very minimal cost, and it'll be great information.
Now, this is a workshop, which for Ollie, this means a one-time workshop. Any possibilities that this will turn into a program? I know that many of the classes that are presented through Ollie come from ideas like this.
I just talked to Robin Weeks, who is our Sedona coordinator at Ollie, and he says that it looks like we may be able to do something 6 to 8 weeks in the fall. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably begin the end of September, go through October, part of November. And we have all kinds of great people who come and just tell us how to stay fit, both in our brain and body.
And we try to touch on that as often as possible, because we know that there are a few things. Physical fitness at whatever level that means for us individually. Emotional fitness, whether it's volunteerism or becoming involved in the arts, any kind of activity like that, those things all contribute to physical health.
Some days it's hard for older people just to get out of bed. And if they get out of bed and make a list and make a few calls, they can move it, they can get going. It's the question of being interested and diversifying yourself. And it's more and more necessary as we all get older.
Sometimes we find it easier to sit on our front porch and read, and not that there certainly isn't anything wrong with that, but to incorporate many different kinds of things into our lifestyles is really critical to our overall health. So you've just touched briefly, you're involved in some other things. I know that you stay very active, and I know that we want to talk about the Ollie workshop, but just give us a little bit of an idea of some of the other things you've been involved in.
I walk my cat every morning, which is...
That's wonderful.
And while I'm doing that, I do all my yoga stretches, and my cat sort of walks me, and he gets his wildness out, and then we come back in, and he's fine. I pick up bread several times a week from the local bakeries, the bread they can't sell because it's the end of the day, and I have 3 other ladies who are helping me distribute it throughout the Verde Valley. Clarkdale, Cottonwood, other places, Village of Oak Creek, and Sedona. There are food banks that need this, and there are churches and other groups that help. So I'm pretty busy in those ways, and I travel. I made a point last year of traveling. I went 4 different places, including Italy, where I have friends and I help them harvest their olives.
Oh.
And this year I'm going back to help harvest their grapes. And I just go and I sink into their culture, and I don't worry about doing anything. It's the best way.
Awesome. We appreciate you being here. Want to point out again, April 19th, the Sedona Yavapai College campus.
April 12th.
April 12th, I'm so sorry.
No, that's
April 12th, the Sedona Ollie campus, that's at the Yavapai College campus, rather. And there's more information, I'm assuming, on the Yavapai College website in the Ollie section, and that's lifelong learning.
Right.
And you can get all of the information that you need, minimal cost. All of these kinds of things help you identify those areas where you can be vital in your life, and those are important things to note. Anne, thank you so much. Parting words? You always leave me with some great parting words.
Cultivate love and friendship, and make new friends, especially young people. I'm teaching over at Red Rock High School a few sessions on my book, The Immigrants, and being with high school kids is a whole new trip.
Great advice. You stay tuned, and we're going to get some more great information when we come back.
I'm Ben Bueller, owner and funeral director at Bueller Funeral Homes. My grandfather once told me, you can serve a family selfishly once, or treat them right and serve that family for generations.
Bueller Funeral Home has been serving Arizona families for 3 generations with affordable and reasonable services. Bueller Funeral Home feels a funeral should be as unique and personal as the individual it honors, whatever your choices, your traditions, or your budget.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. We are finding out about all kinds of things that will be important to us. It's important for us to look at different aspects of our lives and just kind of take the bulls by the horns. One of the things that we have discussed in the past, and I thought that it was, I've had several people mention it, it's kind of important, and I wanted to touch on the topic just a little bit more. Hearing loss affects many of us as we get older, and it doesn't have to be significant where it's life-altering. But as we begin to identify that, we need to know what our options are. Joining us today is Ron Kuglich. Ron is a board-certified hearing instrument specialist. Yes. Welcome.
All right. How are you?
Fine, thank you. First of all, thank you for joining us. It's nice to be able to get a little bit of free medical advice, if you want to call it that. First of all, tell us a little bit, what is a board-certified hearing instrument specialist?
Okay. To become board certified, you have to have some years in the business full-time first, and then you get a letter of recommendation that you go in front of the board. And it's board certification of hearing instrument specialists. It's actually international. You have to have a code of ethics and expertise more than you would like on a state level, for example. But anyway, you have to have years in, and then it takes quite a while to study, and the exam's a full day. And it covers actual, you know, your practice and your business and performance and selection and testing and all those types of things. And then you have to be recertified every 3 years. The standards are more educational credits than you would have, like just necessary for state, and you have to re-credentialize every 3 years. So it's quite a process.
Sounds like it, but again, very, very important to have gone through that process in order to be able to evaluate and advise people how to deal with it. In your, in your estimation, there are obvious symptoms of hearing loss.
Yeah, I
Those
see
kinds
it all
of
the
things,
time.
right? Are there things that you can maybe recommend that we pay attention to? Because I know that there is hearing loss that's as a result of aging and that process, but there are also symptoms that may indicate further problems. Are there ways to know whether you need to see a physician first or whether you need to have your hearing tested first? Are there differences that you know of?
You know, if there's more of a, seems like an emergency need, like sudden deafness, or if somebody's lost hearing very rapidly, they really should I've even sent people to the hospital.
Okay.
So it should be a hearing loss over a slower length of time. Sometimes but they could see a hearing aid dispenser because we have a lot of FDA questions in a procedure we go through to see if they would be needed to sent to a doctor first or before they get hearing aids, such as dizzy spells, those types of things, or wax extraction needed, because we can't really test them if they're blocked with wax.
Oh, okay.
Or if we see foreign materials in the ears, or if the way we test, we see that they have a middle ear problem where the bones in the middle ear aren't functioning right. So they can go to a hearing aid dispenser first. They don't really have to go to a doctor. And if they would need to, we would find that out.
Okay, so first of all, though, any kind of abrupt change in hearing may be a symptom of something that they might need to see.
Could be an acoustic neuroma, like a tumor. So that, yeah, somebody should really go to a doctor.
But even if it seemed a little bit abrupt or it happened over a rather short period of time, a hearing aid specialist would be able to advise them, and there wouldn't be any negative side to seeing one first. Am I right?
No.
Okay.
You could always go see a doctor first. Some people do, and then they come to us.
Right. Okay.
But if it need to send them to one, we have our own rules and laws that we have to follow.
Got it. So there are. I know that from years ago, there were not very many choices, and now there are many options to help improve your hearing. Over the last couple of years, what are some of the notable changes or improvements that have been made in your opinion?
Okay. Well, first of all, you probably don't know I'm wearing any, and I am.
No.
And they hide very good now. They come in like 16 colors, so we can match all hair. This one here, it just has a little tube that comes in.
Oh, I see that.
See, and then that's the receiver, like a speaker, you know. And if hearing is worse, then you can just put a bigger speaker on there. You don't have to get another hearing aid. This hearing aid could be for somebody that's profound, legally deaf, just by having a bigger speaker. Now, you asked what kind of newer stuff there is. Well, there are some hearing aids that are so far down in, but it has to be for a mild hearing loss. You can't see them. You can go right up and look to it.
Wow.
Other things are, my hearing aids are Bluetooth, so I have my cell phone in my pocket here. So if it rings and I'm driving, I just hit this button and I'm talking to my wife, and she can hear me through here through this to my cell phone.
But Bluetooth technology.
Yeah, it's Bluetooth now in here, and so you wouldn't even hear it or know I'm talking to somebody when I'm doing. It's almost like Person of Interest on TV, that show where he's going like this and talking.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's basically the same thing. But we can hook up hearing aids to TVs now, and it can be muted, and you can hear every word within 100 feet. So you can be making something in the kitchen or walk outside or whatever, and you won't disturb other people sleeping.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I know that for different types of hearing losses, at one point there was, I believe if it's nerve damage, that there's very little assistance that can be given to help improve the hearing, if I understand correctly. Like if there's nerve damage in the ear, a hearing aid won't necessarily help improve the hearing on that.
Well, there's cochlear implants, and if we see people, there's also Baha'i, which is a bone anchored hearing aid. You're talking about drilling holes in the skull here and putting wiring down in there, but we have rules too. We can fit somebody up to a certain hearing loss and a certain understanding of words.
Okay.
And if it goes beyond that, then we would have to send somebody, well, the closest is down in Phoenix here, where they do cochlear implants.
Okay. Ron Kuglich is a board-certified hearing instrument specialist. And Ron is also, he and his wife are the owners of Verdi Mobile Hearing.
Correct.
Is that the correct name?
Hearing Solutions.
Hearing Solutions. They, their offices here in Cottonwood are both mobile. Mr. Kuglich makes visits to your location, in some cases for your elderly family. that kind of thing, anybody that may be slightly handicapped, those are perfect, even if you just don't want to have to go out. He has a full schedule of mobile appointments, as well as an office here in Cottonwood. The information's been on the screen, and whether it is Mr. Kuglich or your own professional, hearing professional, please make sure if you're recognizing any of these kinds of symptoms that you check out the options available to you and don't ignore the situation, which we can tend to do. And we certainly appreciate your time. You took off some of your valuable time to be here with us today to help remind people that this is important stuff and we need to take care of it. And we certainly hope to have you back at some point, and we'll talk more and keep reminding people. Thanks for being here.
Get their hearing checked.
You betcha, you betcha. Want you to stay tuned. We have coming up, we've got a couple of great causes that we're going to talk about. Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters is an organization that has done much for the kids in the Verde Valley. And another one that's very near and dear to our hearts here, and that is the St. Jude Country Cares for St. Jude Kids Radiothon. We'll be right back to talk more about those.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
My mom's a hardcore enabler. I first realized it when she said we should have a party at our house.
Have fun tonight? You ready?
She even got my dad to say
Just
okay.
lighten up a little bit. Teenagers.
She's so hooked on enabling that my friends think she's their buddy. She doesn't care. Why should I?
Enabling is a drug. Get help. The partnership at drugfree.org.
Hello, everybody. I am Lou Ann Patterson. My family and I would like to welcome you to the Copper Star Indoor Shooting Range, Northern Arizona's premier shooting sports facility. We offer a 25-yard pistol range, a 50-yard archery range, and Arizona's only 100-yard indoor rifle range. In addition, we have a full-line gun shop as well as an archery pro shop. Come check us out. We're located at Highway 260 and Cherry Road, right next to Out of Africa. Looking forward to seeing you all.
In 1962, 51 years ago, on February 4th to be exact, the doors to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital first opened, and founder Danny Thomas kicked off his dream that no child should die in the dawn of life. Since that time, so much has happened. In 1962, the survival rate for acute lymphoblastic leukemia, childhood leukemia, was only 4%. Today, it's 94%. And all of that because of the work that we're very proud to say that our sister radio station, KVRD, has participated in through the Country Cares for St. Jude Kids Radiothon, and that's right around the corner. We have a very special guest from St. Jude, Emily McNally. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're right around the corner from the Radiothon, and I know Mark in the morning is getting very excited, and we're about ready to roll. You and I have been talking. We were able to visit the hospital just about a month ago and just kind of feel the spirit that St. Jude brings to those kids. Tell us a little bit about the hospital and remind everybody why we're all doing this.
So St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is a hospital that treats kids with cancer and other deadly diseases. So we really take a holistic point of view for the whole family. So we take care of their medical costs, their where they stay. We have 3 housing facilities, their travel to and from the hospital, the food for the entire family. I mean, even social workers, so that their house is taken care of while they're at the hospital.
One of the things that I find so touching when I visit the hospital is the fact that they actually have a school. The kids that are having to deal with living at St. Jude while it is a wonderful place, they miss all their social things, the things that they're used to doing at home. And school is almost, for them, it's almost a relief to be able to go to classes.
Yeah, and St. Jude is really awesome in that they take the lesson plans from the schools where the kids are from and incorporate them into the school at St. Jude. So literally the same lessons, the same homework happens at the hospital as it does at their home school.
Right. Two things that I could keep repeating over and over again. The increased survival rates, first of all. As I mentioned, the leukemia survival rate was so low in 1962, and it's just been phenomenal. But overall, it was less than 20% survival rate for all childhood cancers, and now it's over 80%.
Yeah.
That's as a result of all the research, and St. Jude has been able to accomplish that and continue the tradition that no family ever pays for the care they receive at St. Jude.
Yeah, they don't pay for anything. So everything that the family receives, not only the child, they never see a bill.
And our very own KVRD Country family can be very proud to be part of that. We know that we're part of Country Cares for St. Jude, founded by Randy Owen, and it has been a phenomenal, it's had an impact on the care that they receive at St. Jude that's unbelievable. Over $400 million has been raised by Country Care. KVRD's been what I feel is a huge part of that in the years that we've been involved.
They have. KVRD has raised over $400,000 since they've started their involvement.
KVRD Country, our family has raised that, and we've been able to facilitate that. And we are looking forward this year, March 7th and 8th. We will be back on the air, Mark in the morning. I'll be helping him out. And we're going to be bringing you some stories, some great information. We've got a lot that we want to share with you. We know that the St. Jude extends beyond the walls of the building in Memphis.
Yes, it does.
It extends throughout the country and the world. And even in just the last several years, the progress has been phenomenal in identifying ways that cancer can be helped, cured, maybe even prevented someday. You want to talk a little bit more about some of the research work?
Yeah, so right now we have our Human Genome Project going on, and it actually just is starting to be released this year. It's a 4-year project, and the goal was to sequence 600 pediatric cancers. So that's all of the DNA of the cancers. And our goal was 600, and we have done 700 genome sequencings. So it's really huge. We're able to look at what genes may cause cancer, what parts of the DNA get changed when somebody gets cancer, and then how to prevent that or how to treat that.
It was explained to me that when they can identify the DNA, they can take that DNA and compare it to maybe other diseases that they have dealt with, that have been dealt with throughout the world, and look at what has happened with them. What have they been able to use, what drugs? So they're able to just add that much more information. And the other thing that's very impressive to me, unlike anywhere else, all of this information is made public.
Yes, yeah, so it's shared for free with medical professionals worldwide. So that means that it really affects our local community in Cottonwood.
Absolutely. Let's tell everybody real quick how they can help.
So you guys can help by calling in to the KVRD Radiothon on March 7th and 8th. Call the 1-800 number and become a partner in Hope for only $20 a month.
$20 a month is only 67 cents a day. Many of us can do that. Even if you can't, just be listening. Call. You can talk to Mark. You can talk to our lovely volunteers. We get so many volunteers we want to say thank you to. And Emily, you'll be here?
I will be here.
Ask for Emily if you want to. I'm sure she'll answer the phone. And we'll see you again on March 7th and 8th, and we want to thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you back in the studios.
Hi, I'm Ben Bueller, owner and funeral director at Bueller Funeral Homes. My grandfather once told me, you can serve a family selfishly once, or treat them right and serve that family for generations.
Bueller Funeral Home has been serving Arizona families for 3 generations with affordable and reasonable services. Bueller Funeral Home feels a funeral should be as unique and personal as the individual it honors, whatever your choices, your traditions, or your budget.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
If you're looking for a new pet that your family will cherish every day, consider adopting from a shelter. Shelters are the best places to find a new pet. That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals, eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet, so bring home your new buddy today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Thanks for joining us back here on Senior Living. So many organizations that really deserve our help, and we have found over time, I know I am a little partial to it, but many of us, every time, if anything affects children, we want to make sure that we're giving as much as we possibly can so that they have every possibility of benefiting from the help that we're offering. Next up, we're going to talk to some people that have really done a tremendous job here in the Verde Valley. Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we want to say hi and welcome to Don Bass, who is the Director of Community Outreach.
Yes.
And Jeremiah Sunfellow, who is the match advisor. Thanks for joining us today. We've got quite a few things that we want to talk about. But first of all, Big Brothers Big Sisters has the mission of enhancing the lives of children through quality mentoring relationships. And I want you to please keep that term in mind, quality mentoring relationships, because that's what it's all about for Big Brothers Big Sisters. But there's a lot to that. So as part of the community outreach, I know that there are so many events. Tell us a little bit, just give us a little bit of an idea about Big Brothers Big Sisters and the daily routine and activities and things that go on.
Well, as a community outreach director, my primary responsibility is community development and fund development. And right now we have our largest fundraising program, which is Bowling for Kids' Sake.
Absolutely.
And that will take place at the end of March on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And our goal this year is $65,000 for the Verde Valley. And we should have at least 83 teams bowling, and it turns out to be a lot of fun. And this has been going on for at least 20 years.
It's amazing.
And the community gets behind it, and it's a lot of fun.
I will, the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th is the Bowl for Kids' Sake here in the Verde Valley.
Correct.
The event in the Prescott area is in April?
It's the first week of March.
The first week of March, so it's ahead of ours.
Right.
Okay, and there's an overall goal of, I believe I saw 140?
Actually,
or 267 or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's 276,000 for the Prescott area and for the Verde Valley.
It's a big challenge, but I do know I see sponsor sheets at so many locations. There are so many sponsors, so many businesses that get behind this, and they either put together teams or just do the pledge sponsorships so that as much as possible can be raised. Looks like it's moving along pretty okay. I've had several people ask, you bowling on a team, you want to be involved in a team. There's a lot of involvement, so that's a very, very great thing. And the Bowl for Kids' Sake goes on throughout the United States for Big Brothers Big Sisters, if I understand correctly.
At different times.
At different times, yeah.
Correct, yes, yeah.
Very, very nice. So that's coming up. That's right around the corner. That's important to remember. There are some other events that Big Brothers Big Sisters is involved in. And just give us a quick rundown about some of those kinds of things.
Well, one of the important ones we just completed in the end of this year, with December, is the tax credit
for
the working poor. And that helps us tremendously because there's a lot of people who have the disposable income and they itemize their taxes so they can invest into organizations as a single 200, as a married couple 400. So they actually get a dollar for dollar return on their state income tax.
Right.
And that helps us because we can generate additional funds to support our operations. And then we have a gala that takes place in Prescott, and that's been going on for a long time. And we receive a lot of funds from that.
Great.
But our focus, our biggest focus, is in March, and that's the Bowling for Kids' sake.
Right. I did want to mention, thank you for bringing up the tax credit. One of the things that we talked to many organizations towards the end of the year about the tax credit, and I promised myself and our viewers that we would touch base on that throughout the year because it's so much easier to kind of make it happen all year long than to think about it December 15th before the end of the year. So thank you very much for doing that. Jeremiah, you are match advisor, and one of the things that we're going to go into in more detail in a few minutes will be how to volunteer, how to best utilize your time in helping Big Brothers Big Sisters. But as match advisor, tell us a little bit about what's going on out there with finding bigs for all these littles that are here in our Verde Valley and Yavapai County.
Well, in Yavapai County, I think we have something like 300 or 400 matches. Is that correct? But just in the Verde Valley right here, we have 2 match advisors and a tribal liaison, and between the 3 of us, we have over 100 matches just here in Sedona, Cottonwood, and Camp Verde area.
That is a phenomenal number, but you've got to probably believe that there are many littles that don't have matches out there.
That's right. For all of those matches that are matched and happy and going out there and doing all kinds of fun stuff, we have at least 65 children waiting right now, and some of whom have been waiting for over a year, some close to 2 years. So we need volunteers.
Absolutely, and we are going to talk a little bit more about that. There are so many different facets to Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I know that I've seen as I've been out throughout the county, there are people involved in various ways, but one of the big needs right now we're going to talk about in a few minutes is that of needing bigs. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk more to Don Bass and Jeremiah Sunfellow about Big Brothers and Big Sisters and how you can become involved. Stay tuned.
If you're looking for a new pet that your family will cherish every day, consider adopting from a shelter. Shelters are the best places to find a new pet. That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals, eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet, so bring home your new buddy today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Hi, I'm Ben Bueller, owner and funeral director at Bueller Funeral Homes. My grandfather once told me, you can serve a family selfishly once, or treat them right and serve that family for generations.
Bueller Funeral Home has been serving Arizona families for 3 generations with affordable and reasonable services. Bueller Funeral Home feels a funeral should be as unique and personal as the individual it honors, whatever your choices, your traditions, or your budget.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Welcome back to Senior Living. We are joined right now by Jeremiah Sunfellow and Don Bass with Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters. We've talked a little bit about the mission of Big Brothers Big Sisters. We've talked a little bit about some of the fundraising events. Those are all kinds of fun things. They need our help right now, and I think that it's important to know. Remember, as I mentioned, they enhance the lives of children through quality mentoring relationships. Research tells us that compared to all other youth their age, boys and girls matched with a big brother or a big sister or a family match are 40% less likely to get arrested. They are 46% less likely to start using drugs, 27% less likely to start drinking, and 33% less likely to skip a day of school. Those kinds of statistics are pretty staggering, and considering what Jeremiah said as far as there being at least 65 littles that need bigs right here in the Verde Valley, we want to make that possible. We want to get out there and we really want to help. When our earlier guest, Ann Crosman, mentioned that she was teaching a couple of different classes at Red Rock High School, the one thing that she also mentioned was that while it's exhausting because those high school kids can give us a run for our money, it was one of the most rewarding things that she was doing right now. And I think that that's really important to remember. I am watching this show right now, and I finally say, that's what it is. That's what I need to do. What's the first step that I take to become a big?
Interesting question. In most cases, it's just a matter of calling me at the Cottonwood office, and that's where it usually begins.
Okay.
And in most cases, just an initial conversation, because there's interest there. We might talk about what Big Brothers Big Sisters is, what our mission is, and some of the advantages of being a big. And if the applicant is serious, then I will send them an application. In some cases, I'll actually sit down with them and complete the application process with them.
Okay.
And that could take a week, it could take a day. But that's the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. And from there, if they do fill out the application and they complete that, then I hand it to our enrollment specialist, who will take it from there. All right. And the initial interview process is where she actually sits down with the application, and it could be a big brother or big sister, and she goes over the expectations of what a big is and their role that could take place between the little. All right. And at the same time, she completes a form for the Department of Public Safety, and they do a fingerprint, and they'll do a background check, and they'll have personal references that they'll use. And then from that point, when all that information comes back and is received, then it's moved over to Jeremiah in the match environment.
And I know that there are some steps, and just as to basically restate what you just said, you have to be committed to wanting to do this, and as an adult community, we just have to know too that it's all very well overseen, and there are steps that are taken to ensure that all of the bigs and all of the littles are safe and secure, and everybody's going to be okay with that. I don't think that it matters, but is there a need for more big brothers or more big sisters, or is it doesn't matter, we just need bigs?
Yeah, I would say overall we need bigs. Could we use more male bigs? Absolutely.
Okay. It's probably a little bit, us ladies are probably a little bit more likely to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to be a big sister. But I can see that, and I know many big brothers, so I know that they are having the time of their lives with their littles, so I think that that's pretty impressive. So Jeremiah, they have been accepted. They are now a big. What do you look for when you have the good fortune of getting a new big to match up with your littles?
Well, at first it's very exciting, of course. So I really like to try to take the time to sit down with my my new big and talk about what is going to be the most fulfilling thing for them, what they want, what their interests are, and that'll already be covered in the enrollment process.
Right.
But when I am looking to make a match, you know, it's not just about making a match because there's a need there. It's also about making a strong, happy match that has a lot in common, so that when they get together, they can have fun and they have that foundation so that they can hit the road running. So I really try to make a match based on personality and interests. I think that's really important.
And I suppose there are some differences that you may have to take into consideration if I really like ballroom dancing and my little wants to go roller skate, there might not be a lot in common.
Yeah, there's always a play, you know, in any relationship you don't have everything in common, but yeah, we try really hard to make sure that there's a common ground there. And I always encourage bigs, even when I'm just doing outreach, so if you have an interest, if you do family dinner, if you go to church, if you love golf, do those things with your little, include them in things you're already doing. You don't have to go out of your comfort zone and, you know, create this whole new environment for you and your little. You can take them along to do things you already love.
Good point to make. I think that's pretty important. One of my friends, I met her little when they were able to come for the week before Christmas dinner. So I thought that was pretty fun that she was able to bring her little. The another strong point to make is that becoming a big brother or big sister does not mean that you have to create 20 more hours in your week in order to spend with your little.
Absolutely not.
There are plenty of things. Are there, we've mentioned the major fundraisers. Are there events that Big Brothers Big Sisters coordinates for the bigs and littles? Are there picnics or skates? And I don't know. Are there things
Absolutely.
that we do?
Yeah, we know that everyone, you know, we're so appreciative that people are already volunteering their time. We know it's expensive to do things, so we try very hard to do one activity a month.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes we don't always do it, but generally we do one group activity a month that'll be led by a staff member. I think the next one is the Aviation Day, which will be March 9th, if I'm correct.
Okay. Are there, I was thinking about another guest that I had some time ago. Do you look for outings that you can organize as a group and look for things that are going on throughout the Verde Valley? If I sent you some information on something you might be able to use?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I say that as an invitation too. When there are opportunities, there are some things that I'm sure littles might not be able to do, or it might not be appropriate. But if you've got something going on that you want to make sure that big brothers and big sisters and littles can be involved in, let these guys know. The website's been on the screen. Phone numbers have been there. They're easy to get a hold of. I really appreciate Jeremiah, Don, I appreciate your time. I am hoping that we get 65 more bigs that can come in and take some of the littles. And I certainly want to invite all of you, whether you're able to or not,